So the main event of UFC 284 will see champion pitted against champion in a bout between Alexander Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. I just want to give a breakdown and a prediction for this fight a little bit early. Might do one closer if I change my mind. Really don't think I'm going to change my mind. I've had the same opinion about this fight since it was announced, and it hasn't changed, and I don't think I can see anything that will make it change, but we'll see. So obviously, Volkanovski, the featherweight champion, just had a stellar performance against Max Holloway. Third time he has beaten Max Holloway. Obviously, people dispute the second win, but in my opinion, he clearly won the second fight as well. It was closer, but he clearly won it. And he's looking great at featherweight, man. I honestly don't know if anyone beats him at featherweight. I think at featherweight, Volkanovski could rule that featherweight division for a long time. But sadly, I'm an Australian, if you didn't already know from the accent. Sadly, I do think that Islam Makhachev is going to get it done against Alexander Volkanovski. I just think Islam is too big. You see them face off, and it's not just height, it's just thickness, it's build. Islam Makhachev is just a much bigger dude. And I think Volkanovski is very, very good. I think his speed could give him some success in this fight. He's going to be a lot quicker. I think he's better on the feet. But I think there's a narrative against Islam on the feet that he's just a grappler, but his stand-up is really quite good. He dropped Charles Oliveira. His stand-up is a lot cleaner and more technical than, say, Khabib's stand-up, obviously, someone he's compared to a lot. And I just think his stand-up is good enough to, and he's good defensively too, his stand-up is good enough to avoid the attacks of Volkanovski. Volkanovski is probably going to look for those low kicks to try and damage Islam, and then blitz him with switch stance combos. And I just think Islam's going to get him down. I really think, I know Volkanovski has been hard to take down in his career, but you do have to remember when he fought Chad Mendes, he did get taken down. He did get taken down multiple times in that fight, and he did get held down for, granted, brief periods, but it wasn't just down and up. He did get held down at points. Chad Mendes was able to get his back, and he did get to his feet, but when you're talking about Chad Mendes and Islam Makhachev, there's a big difference. And I think the big difference is going to be the strength. People at lightweight talk about the insane strength of Islam Makhachev. People like Bobby Green talk about how strong he felt in there. And I think when Volk's going to be moving up, I don't think he's packed on a lot of weight. He's just been less focused on dieting and getting his weight down. He's packed on probably a little bit of muscle, but I don't think he's going to be a whole lot bigger. And I just think that weight difference and that strength difference is going to be really evident in this fight. And, I'm going to pick Islam Makhachev by submission. I'm thinking kind of second, third round. I think Volk makes it interesting early on. I think Volkanovski's quick, and he'll be able to land some pretty decent shots on Islam early on. I don't see him, one-punch KOing Islam. Obviously, Islam has been one-punch KO'd by, God, I forget the guy's name. He kind of fell into obscurity, but Islam has been KO'd. I don't see that happening here. I think Islam's a lot more defensively sound than he was back then. And I just think Volk will get taken down. If Mendes took him down, I think Islam will. And I think he's going to have a hell of a hard time getting up when Islam takes him down. And, I give Volk credit, you know what I mean, with his submission defense. Obviously, he really displayed that against Brian Ortega. But I think if Brian Ortega's putting you in those positions, I think Islam will find a submission on him. I just see Islam submitting him. Islam's been going pretty nuts with the submissions lately. Obviously, just submitted Charles Oliveira, the guy who leads in submissions in the UFC. So he submitted the best UFC submission artist statistically. And I just think, eventually Volk will have to tap or he'll go out. I can see him going out. I'm thinking kind of a rear naked choke. I'm thinking a choke and not a limb submission. I'm thinking it's going to be a choke and Volk might go out. But I just don't see Volk winning. I think he can have successes, but here's my opinion on it. I don't think Volk will finish Islam. I think it's a possibility, but I can't see it. I think Islam's defensively sound enough, and I don't think there'll be enough opportunity for Volk to finish him. And I don't think that Volk will be able to win enough moments. If you're talking round by round, if you're thinking Volk decision, I just don't think he's going to be able to keep it standing for enough of the fight to win it. I think he'll be taken down and he'll be held down, and maybe he'll get up every now and again, but he'll be taken down, he'll be held down, and I don't see there being a whole lot of opportunity for him to win the fight. So I think worst case scenario for Islam, he gets a decision, but I really think he submits Volk. I know Volk trains with Craig Jones, a very good jiu-jitsu practitioner, and I've seen Volk train very hard, and there's a chance that he pulls it off, but I just really don't see him winning it. If it was Charles Oliveira, I think that was a better matchup for Volk. Still very difficult, but a better matchup. But I think Islam Makhachev just takes him down and does what he wants, really. I just think he's too big. He's big for lightweight, and, Volk's a featherweight, and he's moving up. I just don't see how Volkanovski wins this fight. So, yeah, those are just my thoughts on the fight. I've got Islam by second, third round sub. I think Volk will make it interesting. Like I said early on, he'll land some good shots. He might even get out of some submissions, maybe get to his feet, but I just don't see him being able to maintain that for an entire fight, and I don't see him flatlining Islam. Yep, that's about it. See you.